All right. It's 8:59, so
Do we know what we're talking about today, or are we just winging it?
Didn't you want to talk
we're
about
We're talking
yeah,
about it,
wedding
yeah,
attire
for
let's talk about
photographers.
for
clothing.
photographers?
For
I
photographers.
James,
Photographers.
I was
Not
telling
not
Judy,
for anybody else, only for photographers.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is all about photographers.
Yeah.
Yeah. James, is Judy's
Yeah.
top match her background on your screen?
It's pretty close.
Do I match?
Yeah, it's
Yeah?
pretty close. Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a,
my shirt's gray and my walls are gray.
They look a little greenish on mine.
I know, right? I think it's
wouldn't,
my webcam probably.
wouldn't that be
Probably
creepy
my
if there was an apparition in that room behind you?
That's actually the hallway.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be creepy if like a dude walked by?
It's I should like rig something up so it goes back and
We
forth.
would be like in mid talk and all of this. Yeah,
Wait, what's that?
you'd be like, Judy, it's nothing. Honestly, it's nothing. Like,
And you know this house was built in like 1910, so it could
Yeah,
be like
yeah,
totally
yeah,
doable,
yeah.
right?
I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
haunted.
I know,
It's
right?
haunted. This is the haunted podcast, so.
Yeah, I
All
finished
right.
my last wedding of the year on the weekend, so
And you dress the way you are right now.
that's why, because I'm exhausted.
Oh,
Between the weddings and the retouching and my own sessions, and I'm like pooped.
tell us about your wedding, and let's talk about clothing attire and how important it is for photographers on all gigs, especially weddings.
Are we recording right now?
We have been for the last 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
that's
So-
good to know. You really need to tell us that.
Yeah,
sort
you
of
need to tell us that. Like,
stuff.
what the
Because
Well,
a lot of it.
Okay,
a lot of everything.
so this year was probably the first year that I had quite a few weddings, right? Like
Yeah.
I think 7 in total.
You're back in the game.
Yeah, 3 were mine, and I second shot 4 weddings. And I can tell you that at more than half of them
Yeah.
were photographers in jeans, ripped jeans, t-shirts.
Wow.
Like we're talking bad, okay?
Like, okay, let me ask you something. Is there a certain like noticeable consistency with these people? Are they younger,
No,
older?
no, which
All they-
would be your expectation, right? So
Well, I don't want to judge, but maybe.
no,
I'll
but
judge.
you know, I
I'll
mean,
judge.
yeah, typically younger. It takes a while to maybe find your thing when you're shooting and whatever.
Yeah.
So if I could look at it from that point of view, I'd say yes. But the last instance that I had was 2 weeks ago, and the videographer looked like he rolled out of bed, and he was gray-haired and my age.
Okay.
Okay?
But he's a videographer, so they're different.
Well, no, they're not. When you're attending the reception, you need to dress properly. And what makes it worse at this particular wedding, and I don't know if you've ever done an Afghani wedding,
No.
the women dress in evening gowns. They don't just wear cocktail dresses. This
They go
is like over the top, crazy outfits, okay?
Nice.
Like we're talking it's evening wear.
Right. Yeah.
So here you are, you're at a wedding. Now, I mean, I even feel I look sloppy, but I'm in all black. You know, I've got black pants, black shirt. At least I look neat and clean and presentable.
Like
This
a photographer.
guy, yeah, this guy's in like crappy jeans, this awful t-shirt, and I'm like looking at him and thinking, this is really bad. Because of the kind of wedding you're at. You know what I mean? It's like, it's bad enough at a regular wedding, but worse at this kind of wedding, which is like almost a black tie affair.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of thing that when I posted about that on Facebook was after that wedding. Because that was not the first time I saw it all year. I saw it several times.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
It's becoming a trend.
There was one guy, now, given it was at the photo shoot at the park,
Yeah.
he was in ripped jeans, a t-shirt with a baseball hat turned backwards, and that's how he was shooting. Now, he was a photographer.
Yeah.
So, and both the girl that I was with shooting at the time, her and I looked at each other and we were like, can you believe he's dressed like that? Like,
Okay,
that's awful.
this is a photographer, not a videographer.
Yes, this was the
So,
photographer.
are we going to guess that that photographer was a $800 photographer? Because I often see that with the cheaper ones.
I don't know. I mean, could very well be, but who, I have no idea. Like, I know the people that I know, like yourselves, and like my friend Kim, who I shoot with, and my friend Steve, who I've worked with, they don't dress like that.
No, they
Okay?
go all out.
Yeah, but not necessarily all out, but neat, clean, presentable. Yes, professional.
I
Thank
think
you.
you dress for the occasion, depending on what it is.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
that's just it. Like, if they're dressed up, if it's a dressed up event, you go dressed up.
Yeah.
If it is a jeans and a t-shirt event, then you're fine doing jeans and a t-shirt.
I guess, but I still wouldn't even do that. I would probably just dress down a little, but I'd still probably be all in black. And I mean, even having said that, like, like I've worked with teams, videographer teams, and that black pants, black polo shirt, and they look consistent across the board.
Yep.
And they look neat and clean.
Yep.
They're not in jeans.
That's what I wear. I got a nice pair of black jeans if I'm wearing jeans, and I wear a nice button shirt.
Button shirt. That's it.
When you're doing a formal event, because you're not at weddings.
Well, if I'm doing I'll dress up in suit pants and suits depending on the shoots I have when it gets to.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, if it's corporate and you're covering something. Oh, yeah.
If it's a corporate gig,
I dress for the event.
will you wear a tie?
What's that? Yes. Oh yeah, I have.
Because I know at the trade show we talked about a few months ago, you showed a selfie of yourself. Yep. You had a vest, nice shirt. I think you had a tie.
I did have a tie, yeah, and I had this hat too.
You look smoking hot there, James.
Oh, thank you, Rob. You know what? It's funny too, is because people commented on it. It's like, wow, you got a nice look here, and that's all just part of the brand.
I think it's so important.
If I did a bridal show, I would dress the same way I would dress at a wedding, so that when they see me, they're seeing me as it would be presented at a wedding. Right?
I would suggest if you're at a bridal show, you dress up a little more dressier.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I'd probably wear makeup to a bridal show. I don't wear makeup when I'm shooting.
Okay, well, that counts as dressing up. That counts as dressing up.
Yeah, and that's just because makeup and sweat don't go together very well, right?
It runs, exactly.
Yeah,
James wears makeup when he goes underground.
So I don't wear. But like when I've done presentations for other photographers, I dress up and I wear makeup. Yeah. Right? So it's all in how you present yourself. And I've just been completely taken aback because I've never seen that.
It's like the guy smoking.
Like, what's going on?
It's like the photographer smoking while you shoot.
Yeah, like I saw at this wedding that we were at, I saw another photographer at in the room next door, and she's in tight yoga pants, like the yoga tights.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, but she's in yoga tights, a crappy white T-shirt. I mean, she looked like she came out of the yoga studio.
I've seen that. Actually, I just saw that this summer. That's right.
Honest to God, right? Like, what the hell is that?
I can honestly say, looking back at my full wedding career, or actually just photography career, that I've never felt underdressed at a gig. Like, I've never sat there and said, "Crap, I'm wearing the wrong thing." I've never felt like that.
You always dressed up, though.
That's what I mean. Like, exactly. I've always dressed up.
I went to one wedding, I shouldn't say that. I had to do it for like 2-3 weeks. Yeah. Where I had to wear flip-flops.
Why?
Because I broke my toe.
Oh.
At a wedding.
The old broken toe excuse, huh?
Yeah. It was an Indian wedding, and it was in a backyard, and it was under the whatever. Yeah. And you can't wear shoes. You have to be barefoot. Yeah. Oh. And I hit a plastic patio chair, and I really broke my toe. Like, my foot was black and blue all the way up my leg. It was so broken. And then the next day, I had to shoot their civil ceremony because it was a.
You posted about that, right?
Yeah.
You had to wear flip-flops.
And I had to wear flip-flops. And I called the wedding coordinator and I said, "Listen, I've got a problem. I can't get my shoes on."
Yeah.
And I couldn't get my shoes on for 3
I'm gonna
weeks
start laughing now.
following that.
Now
But I still wore everything else like I would normally, but I had no choice.
You didn't show up in some shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. Right?
No, right? Not to mention, I explained it to the clients ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like the poor client that it happened at their Indian portion of the wedding, and then the next day they see me and literally black and blue right up my leg.
Oh.
But it didn't hurt because I just taped it together.
I'll be honest, I'd love to wear flip-flops on a wedding one day. That would have been fun. Actually, no, I did, but those were like when you do when we do the...
They're actually not comfortable to wear at a wedding. To me, they're not comfortable. Like I wear pretty well, and I wear Nikes, black leather Nikes that are solid shoes, and I can wear them on my feet all day and my feet don't hurt.
One time I broke my balls and I had to wear a jockstrap. I did.
Oh my God.
Dave, you were there.
What do you mean? What do you mean I was there?
Oh, I had 2 assistants.
I was not there.
Yeah, I had 2 assistants.
Oh my God.
It was Dan's wedding, Dan the Cop.
Yeah.
Remember?
Storybook wedding.
Storybook wedding. They had the crew from Philadelphia came up to shoot there was a series on cable TV. What was it called? The Wedding Story.
Wedding Story. That's it.
And I had Monday. I got a vasectomy reversal, which is a brutal, brutal, brutal operation.
Yeah.
I was laid up for 3 days. Then I had to work.
James, you gotta see this. No, you really gotta see this.
Oh my God.
You want to talk about black and blue, man, and coconuts?
Yeah, I remember that. That was I
could barely walk.
And that was and the problem is during that's the wedding where I don't want to say you don't step it up all the time, but when you got cameras around, you got to be on the game. You want to be on the game. So
it's called Murphy's Law.
So you're just exactly. So you have to go that extra 110%.
That's like kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it jinxed them because they only lasted like 4 months.
Yeah. Wow. But I just think that people, people are paying you thousands of dollars. You need to take it seriously.
So what is it? So let's look at what is it? What is it? Are they younger? Do they just don't care? Are they cheap? Do they just not know? Are they not in business?
Maybe they just don't think about it.
I don't think they're conscientious. See these running sandals? That's what I wear when I'm shooting a wedding in Costa Rica.
Well,
that's acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
We're on
different.
the beach.
Like I had one assistant who I picked her up at she used to meet me at the subway station, and I picked her up, and she walked out in a white skirt and a white shirt, and I looked at her, I'm like, you don't wear white to a wedding. Okay? And she looked at me, she had no clue.
Really, eh?
Like, no clue. It didn't even dawn on her. You don't wear white to a wedding. And she looked at me and she's like, well, why not? I go, because you're not the bride.
So, who's your assistant?
You're the effing photographer.
Who's your assistant?
Yeah, she was, at the time, she was my assistant.
So how many weddings has she gone to?
That was way, way back. I don't even work with her anymore. Now I tell my assistants what they have to wear.
Yeah, I tell them too.
Black
I talk to all my
black shirt, presentable.
I tell the girls no mini skirts and no low cut tops because I had that happen to me once.
I mean, I tell my assistants are usually female. I mean, I have had I did have a second shooter for a while that was a guy, and David always dressed really well. But the girl I have now, I tell her no skirts.
Well, no, it's just
you could be crawling around.
That's what
on
I mean.
The ground
exactly. You're limited to what you can do classily.
Yeah. That's it. So I'm like, don't wear a skirt. Yeah, don't wear a skirt.
I think it's lack of professionalism. I saw a wedding this summer that a friend, there was a relative who got married, and I couldn't shoot their wedding because I was already booked. So I saw the pictures, and they hired the $800 photographer, and I saw pictures of that person, and I was embarrassed. I don't remember what she was wearing, but it looked like she was going to Walmart or something like that. No disrespect to those who shop at Walmart, but you know what I mean?
I shop at Walmart.
But you know what I mean? It's like let me tell you a real quick story about my attitude about dressing up. When I was 21, I was working at a dark room, and my friend's father was a big manager of a large, Canada Packers. They're a big company, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, Rob, can you take some candid pictures of an awards meeting we're having next Tuesday, whatever? I'm like, whoa, I'm going to get $30, and I never got paid. Like, whoa. So I went out, and back then it was like 1980, right? I bought a 3-piece suit, and I wore the tie, and I showed up. And he commented the next week how much that impressed him. And I'm like, cool.
Yep.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's an impression you make on people over and over and over and over again. Now, especially in the last 15 years, I started wearing black Converse shoes.
Yep.
And black pants and just a black button-up shirt. But I don't like that anymore. I'm now all about really nice dress shoes, vests, and a tie when I go to a wedding, because I don't know what it is. It's like I really want to ramp up my game. Because weddings are sort of, I don't know about you guys down there, Judy, but they're just either I'm getting too old, or I believe there's fewer weddings, and I like shooting weddings, so there seems to be fewer of them there. So I want to ramp up the competitive game, and that's one area that I can, It's important. It's so important.
I think it's so important.
It just adds to the 5 senses of everything, right?
Yeah.
And then, so you look good, and then you're energetic and your charisma is good, right? So that's just a bonus, right? So they can get into that. That's why they'll follow you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's why they'll follow your lead on the wedding day.
Yeah.
And
well,
that's why
typically,
I find they trust you more. Like, it's just because you're
I
showing
typically
them
go
respect.
and I buy something new to wear every year. So I don't.
That year.
Right. So I don't like what I wore this year, I didn't wear last year.
Right.
So so what I do, but they're my uniforms, and I don't wear them for anything else. I only wear them for weddings, and that's it.
Yeah.
But on my feet, I still have to wear the black leather Nikes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because my feet are something that it's not about style, it's about them lasting 10 to 12 hours.
You're taking care of your feet. I get
my
that.
best wedding days. My best wedding days where I was walking all day.
Yes.
Wearing my black Vans.
Yeah. And oh my God, like the worst is standing. I would rather be walking and moving the whole time.
Yeah.
That's why it's like sometimes people will say, well, how come you don't sit at the reception? Because that's the worst possible thing I could do.
Yeah.
You sit down at the reception.
Sitting at receptions because it was like, am I gonna miss something?
Yeah.
Like I'm always, even though you're sitting there, you're still scanning everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really sitting there enjoying the company or the food.
You don't sit at wedding receptions, or do you sit real quick and eat, or do they feed you?
Quick. I don't. Well, now the one Saturday that we did, we were basically thrown in as sort of an afterthought. So there was like one table where there was one chair and another table where there was another chair. And Kim, who was I was second shooting for her.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not sitting with the guests. I'm not going to crawl into these tables and sit over there. I would rather stand over by the DJ booth and just be there in case something happens.
Yeah.
And that was what I did. And I didn't. I'm at the point now where I don't eat a lot of banquet food anymore. I bring my own food, have a bite to eat. I don't really eat the banquet food. And then I have stuff sitting in the car for when I get in the car and I'm on my way home.
Okay,
then I have something.
Tell me, what do you pack? Because I pack a little cooler too. What do you pack in your?
Yeah, I pack stuff for my day sheets on the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On
what do you
site,
pack?
I bring everything.
Yeah, I like to bring. I like my bagel with peanut butter, so that's kind of like my morning thing. My bagel with peanut butter with my coffee. That's what I enjoy.
Great food.
Love that. But then the rest of it's usually fruit.
All right, all day long?
Yes. So nibbling, lots of fresh fruit through the day.
No peanuts?
Sometimes I'll have nuts with me. Sometimes I'll grab a bag of like nacho chips or something like that if I want something crunchy. I like whatever I happen to have at home.
Yeah.
I'll just put it in a bunch of baggies, throw it in, one of those hot cold things and usually I have some drinks in there too.
Yeah.
And I'm good for the day. So usually the only thing I'm getting at the reception is water.
Yeah.
right?
You're pretty happy with that. As long as you have something to eat on, nibble on all day.
Yes, you just got to have your
bear.
nibblies. That's it. You know, and I mean, there's usually lots of opportunities to go back to the car for something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll have to go back to the car always before the reception to go and get all my equipment and everything. So I'll sit down for 5 minutes and have a bunch.
I just go back to the car just to eat. I don't have to get nothing. I'm going to get something to eat.
Right?
What do you pack?
Sometimes I do
what
like
do you
to have
pack,
protein bars too.
I pack, so I usually go to whatever store is closest to the area I'm in. If I'm out of town, I'll just hit a grocery store. So I usually pack protein bars. I'll pack a couple bananas. I kind of cover all my cravings. So there's some cheese in there, probably some pepperettes.
Yeah, I like
yogurt.
the cheese too.
I'll try to find things that like come in the cup so I can just easily scoop it out. And then I usually pack
cheese,
sandwiches. Yeah, and then I'll throw like I've got my chocolate protein bars, but I'll always put something else sweet in there. Because sometimes if you miss a cage, you're underground for 5 hours.
So Costco sells.
What do you do, right?
Well, Costco sells these protein bars that are called Protein Plus.
Yeah.
They were actually the protein bars that were recommended to me.
Oh, really?
When I had my gastric bypass surgery, and one bar is 30 grams of protein.
Oh, that's a lot.
And very little sugar in them.
I think I bought those before.
They're awesome. Like really, really good for protein, right? So I have those, and I grab those all the time. That's probably the best. And there's also, you can get the protein shakes, and they're just little protein shakes. They're only about that big, and they're 30 grams of protein.
I've bought those before too.
Yeah, and a shake. And it's called Protein Plus, and they only sell them at Costco. You can't get them anywhere else.
In Red Lake.
I've never seen them.
Yeah, and that's
you have to like when you're active on a wedding day for a full day, you have to
be prepared.
Eat. You have to eat, you have to drink.
You have to eat, but the crap at the banquet hall.
But you know what I mean? Like throughout the day, you have to keep that up. Otherwise, you can't get sluggish. There's no time to get sluggish. You got to perform all the time.
And the other thing that has happened to me since I had the gastric bypass surgery is I eat very little salt.
Right.
And Jesus, I can't get through those meals at the banquet halls. The amount of salt
that's put in there. Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm being down. So it's like major overload.
You're on a salt-restricted diet.
Not really, but I just don't eat a lot of salt.
Now, but you know the difference now.
Yeah, I totally know the difference. Yeah.
Well,
I find I can't eat it.
I pack protein bars and muffins, pablum, and sweet potato baby food. No, I'm joking about the last two, but I just bring a big.
I do put a sleeve of arrowroot cookies in there.
That's good too.
I bring a big pile of protein. Shit, this is gonna start. Hold on. Lots of protein bars, but it's so essential. Well, interesting. I know down in Phoenix when Carrie Allen was shooting a lot down there, weddings, they do it different. They, you don't sit with the people. They have these, I forget what they call them, service meals for like the D-Day and all the people that are there as hired help.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta kind of sit in the back, and usually behind these curtains in a room. Like you can't hang out with the bigwigs. You gotta hang your head in shame.
There's a lot of places here that do that too.
Flip that box over and just.
I've only seen that in Phoenix. I mean, up here in Sudbury.
Well, they do it here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best is these towns out and around. You know, like Verner, James.
Yeah, so it's about
all these little towns. All like they've been around 150 years or whatever. And they're all French farming communities.
Yeah.
So you go to the wedding, and they've kind of fancied it up lately, but you'd go and there'd be like wooden tables. Everybody'd be sitting there, and then they just put a bunch of bowls, family style. Everybody would scoop out the meatballs and the mashed potatoes.
I've never seen that.
No.
Oh yeah, you still see that, but they'll have a nice fancy tablecloth.
All my country weddings out in the Verner area and stuff like that have all been like absolutely. They're some of my favorite weddings actually.
Yeah.
Oh, those cottage type, weddings.
Nice and relaxed.
It's pretty laid back. My last wedding that I did for a friend of mine, they had it out at a lodge in Out Lake. And it was very relaxed, casual clothing. It was the first wedding where I actually did not dress up. It was like, jeans and a t-shirt. I actually had a whack load of beer during the time we were doing the photos because that's what everybody was doing. It was very still classy. But everybody was just having a great time. They're like, well, I'm like, there was no expectations. I got some of the best images. That's my jiu-jitsu image that I did too. Is one of my favorite images. I had so much fun being creative.
Yeah.
Right? Where I was not in the creative mode. Yeah. That I was like, man, I should have drank at wedding.
That's because you were drunk, man.
But it was fun. It was fun. But that's the only wedding I did that. My very last wedding. I did not.
Oh, really?
I've never had a drop of alcohol at a wedding.
No, I don't drink either.
My last wedding at a lodge. See that on the screen?
Yeah, nice. No, that reminds me of a shot that Mark Rideout did years ago, eh?
This is, I remember that shot.
Remember that shot?
That was out in the Caribbean. But this is in Manitoulin Island, Red Lodge.
Wow.
All right. Well, it's interesting.
Always a good subject, though, is like, how do you conduct yourself at a wedding as a photographer?
And the thing is, like, you guys are still in the game, so you see stuff. Like, I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, you don't see it
anymore. I don't know
anymore.
what they're doing, or you know what I mean?
No.
Can I tell you guys? I got to tell you guys a scary story about that wedding I just showed you.
Okay.
Give me a second. This scared the hell out of me. My computer's acting up because I'm overloading the.
You got a lot open there.
Yeah, I know. All right, so this is that same wedding right here. You remember Kevin Fitzgerald, James? He was in that mastermind group I ran.
I just photographed his company.
This is his daughter's wedding. Yeah, he was telling me about that company. This guy had a computer tech company in the 90s, and everything changed, and he kind of got out of that. And he bought this company, and I was picking his brains about it. I was like, why did you buy this company? You know, it's like, what is it? What do you call that? Rubber?
Potential?
No, yeah. But besides that, what was the product? It was rubber dynamite mats?
It's blasting mats.
Blasting mats.
It's the blasting mats they use when they blow up rock on the highway. Those big black rubber.
Yeah.
They're just tires.
So
they're just recycled tires.
So I'm picking his brains about that because this is not a sexy product. And Kevin's a pretty smart dude, and I'm like, okay, and I know him really well. I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what your intentions were and why you got into this, because I'm making the assumption that he didn't get into it like we get into photography, because there's a lot of passion and there's a lot of art and there's this whole emotional thing as photographers. And he's just hardcore business. That's the only reason he got into it. He saw the opportunity. The business came with a building. And the main thing was, it's twofold, I believe. The one I didn't know, but the other one I figured out on my own. But the first one was that once he started analyzing the company, the owner was mismanaging it. The other thing that I was sort of aware of is, I mentioned it already, it is not a sexy product. And sometimes those are the most profitable businesses. So he went in and analyzed the company and realized there was potential there because the guy was mismanaging it. The guy had all kinds of problems. So he went in and made an offer, and he picked it up. And he's been working it for the last 3 years. And he made a smart move by hiring you, James, to go get some really kick-ass pictures to sell this sexy product.
You know, like I talked to him too on that day, and I asked him a lot of questions too, because I was curious, just like you. It's like, that's filling a major gap. Like, that business has a crap load of potential. Yeah. Like, it's a very smart move. And they use all recycled tires.
He's doing well.
It's a supply and demand thing. And the thing is like they're branding. They're doing branding on it as well. They did a lot of branding.
Really?
It's actually, it's beautiful, I have to admit. And you're right, Rob. It's not a luxurious job. And these workers, like, they've got their own good life there. These guys are ripped. They're in shape, because you have to be. The amount of labor that they're doing there is unbelievable, but it's a great product. So,
I guess it is sexy.
Like I said, in a way it is. As a business, it's a sexy business because it's got all the factors to really make a successful business. Right. And Kevin's doing a fabulous job. Like, he's done everything Rob said, and it's already turned around. And when I photograph those guys, like the team he has there, they're a team. You know, like, they're very cohesive together. They work well together. It was a pleasure to photograph them, but also, like, learn their business. Man, a huge respect for that company, man. Huge respect.
Okay, here's the story I want to tell you. I finally got the image. Okay, see behind these people?
Yeah.
it slopes down, right?
Yeah.
Probably a good 15-foot drop. Right behind me is the lodge.
Yeah.
I decided to do all the formals here, brought my flash. This lady here,
Yeah.
she's what, 85? That's her son.
Okay.
So prior, I'm doing the bride and groom with the grandma. The grandma was right here.
Yeah.
The son was over here. The bride and groom were over here somewhere. And she started going backwards. She lost control.
Lost her footing.
She was going over the cliff.
Oh.
She was going backwards, out of control. 84 years old. They don't have their balance the way they used to when they were 24.
No.
He just walked over, put his arm behind her, and stopped her. And it was like, had he not been there, she would have gone rolling down this hill.
Down, eh?
Either would have got killed or definitely would have broke her neck. That would have been it. That would have been. That would have been the worst. And nobody realized how scary that was.
How close that could have been.
It scared the hell out of me, and I thought these are the little details that you got to be aware of and you got to anticipate. You know, I didn't think as much bringing everybody up there on top of this.
Honest truth, I wouldn't have thought about that either. That's a nice shot.
You know, but that's what I wanted the background, because this is Manitoulin Island. Her family and his family, a lot of history there. They have their summer cottages there for decades, and I wanted to show the Cup and Saucer Trail in the background.
That's a nice photo.
You know, so I did all the formals there, and that's sort of what happened there. That was kind of scary. So anyways, lesson learned, right?
Yeah.
What else you guys got to say? I can talk about some other shit unless you guys got something.
Well, I had 500,000 pounds of muck just kind of land right beside somebody. No, I'm just joking. I can't top yours.
Well, that can happen, though, in your job.
It does, unfortunately.
People get killed.
That's what I just idly do. I don't think about that crap at all when I'm underground. I actually trust the system. I trust the employees. I trust the safety. You know, like I put all my trust into them. So I don't even think about that stuff.
Do you guys remember around the year 2000, there was a photographer out west, he was a young guy, starting his studio, and he was buying shit, and it was going well, and he bought a heat press, you know, for framing.
Yes.
Judy, do you have one of those?
No.
Ever work with one of those?
No.
They weigh like 450 pounds. And he bought one. And he was taking it off the back of the truck, and it fell, and it killed him.
Oh, no way.
Killed him. It was awful. What about that bride that drowned 5 years ago in Quebec?
Yeah.
Now that we're on a morbid topic.
Didn't somebody just get hit by a train?
There was someone that got hit by a train, yeah.
Yes,
or was it two sisters? Two sisters, I think.
Are you serious? Anybody get killed?
Yeah, they got killed. It was two sisters. They were photographing on tracks.
Did nobody see? Like all this younger generation should just watch Stand By Me. That's all you got to watch. Just watch Stand By Me. You're not gonna take any chances on the trains. You know, you're gonna make sure it's not in a corner. You know, you're gonna grab the rail to see.
Yeah, like I mean, come on, okay? I understand that people say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't photograph on tracks." It's like, are you really that stupid that you're not watching to see if something's coming?
Yeah, take your earbuds out.
Well, I've been on tracks before, and in retrospect, I'm never going to do it again because you know that big trestle over the Spanish River, James?
Yeah.
You got to climb up there, and you got to go over this embankment. It's not that dangerous. It's just that you can't, once you're in there, if a train goes by, you got to wait on the bridge. And if you're prone to anxiety or scared of heights or you know, if a train's whipping by you at 80 miles an hour, you got to just sort of stand there and, you know, you just got
to bide your time.
Just don't try and outrun the train. And I was there. Remember Kelly? She had Blissful Brides.
Yeah.
I was doing a shoot with her and two brides, and we're like, yeah, let's go on the train tracks. This is about 9 years ago. And I was telling the girls, they had high heel shoes on. I'm like, okay, girls, look, if a train comes, here's what I want you to do. Step over here beside me and wait. Don't run. You got high heel shoes and a big-ass wedding gown on.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed telling that story, by the way, because I'm thinking, what the hell was I doing there in the first place?
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah.
We got some cool shots, though.
That's all that matters. You're good then. If you got cool shots, it's all worth it. No. Yeah, you know what? I mean, we all did. Well, I did a train track session too.
I've done train track sessions too.
But I,
would
you know,
never do train track sessions with children or animals.
I also looked up a train schedule. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, like you just kind of pre-plan if, you know, safety. It's safety first.
Well, and I mean, like I've shot on train tracks that trains have not been there.
That's
like you can tell if a train is not running on track. These there's these certain tracks. Yeah, they're abandoned. You can tell they're abandoned, right?
As long as there's no grizzly bears.
You know, but it's you have to be smart about it. It's
yeah.
But I try not to. And if a client suggests it, I'm like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
You're definitely taking a chance, especially if you're on tracks that they're popular. Like I had a client who wanted to take photos on tracks that are GO train tracks.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, okay. Like these trains are running every half hour now.
No, I'm not suggesting go out and photograph everybody on train tracks. But if you are so inclined to go out and photograph somebody on train tracks, just go to the train tracks and watch for a while. Try to find the schedule. Like try to see when they're coming by and see how fast it takes from that corner to get where you're thinking of photographing.
Yeah, sure,
like it's just prep. I'm not saying don't do it, but it is illegal. I mean, if the train track cops do catch you, you're like
you're in big trouble
because they've got a lot of power. But like you know, at least be safe about it. Like
I never used to think it was a deal until people started dying.
Yeah, I know.
I know, right?
Yeah. Same with Trash the Dress. Remember that photographer, the bride, the young dental hygienist bride, 3-4 weeks after her wedding, doing
that's the one that Judy was talking about earlier.
Were you?
And she ended up in the water.
Yeah.
She went in the water, and the current took her away. Heavy, and she went over the falls, and she died.
Yeah.
And the guy was a legitimate photographer. I checked out his website. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now. But.
Well, I mean, it could have been her idea.
True.
As well, right? Like, I mean, people don't think about these things. Okay, if you want to go in the water and you want to do a trash address, don't do it somewhere where there's rapids and there's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I did one trash address where there was rapids, but it was like this high. You know what I mean? No, but because I've done a lot of trash address, I've done, and Rob, you too, and all of us, we've done a lot of water shots.
Well, and then if she
you go to like a
beach
or someplace, like you'd never go to Onaping Falls, Rob, where you do a family and say, all right, I need you girls right in there, like, you know, it's a little swirl.
But even a lake, I would be a little apprehensive thinking.
Well, you don't go over the head, like, you know what I mean?
If you're at a beach or something, what if, I would think like, okay, what if this dress got really heavy and she got pulled in? What do we need to do? So maybe a life jacket handy, maybe a life preserver or something.
Yeah.
Or you know, maybe her dress will whip off really quick and she can slip out of it, you know, because those things can become like prisons. Yeah. I had a bride at the golf course. We did all the formals. Idlewild Golf Course, James, you know it. They got married outside, and we were like, okay, we did all the formals. Okay, let's get on the golf carts. Now we're going to go with the bridal party. She gets on, her dress gets caught in the back wheel, right?
Yeah.
That could kill people.
Yeah.
Yes.
It ripped her dress from here all the way to the very bottom. The whole dress popped wide open. Wide open. So everybody was shocked. So she says to her bridesmaid, she goes, it was 4:45, she goes, call Lindgren's right now. I know for a fact they got this exact same dress in stock. Tell them we're coming over. She calls them. They're there. They're waiting for her. The bride leaves, comes back half an hour later with a brand new dress. She probably had to buy it. She got it.
Sure.
Wow.
But yeah, that could kill you, you know.
Sure it could.
A scarf.
People don't think. People just don't think.
Laughter if you had that on video. I don't mean to
that
laugh.
Would have been funny.
But you know what I mean? Like, out of all the things that happened, like the whole dress, like right down.
I couldn't believe how easy it ripped open. It just went pop.
Oh,
like it didn't shred. It just pop.
Popped off.
The whole seam, you know, ran across diagonally across the front, you know.
I don't
Wow.
think I've ever had.
It all worked out
The
though.
only close call I've had to like, something happening with the bride is when that fly-in wedding I did, Rob, with the first time with the D30, and they were getting married on a dock, and the dock came out and then
Yeah.
this way. It was like a T dock, right?
Yeah.
So they're all getting married on there. So
No.
the Reverend's like, you can come on the other side, like there's room. So I'd walk around, but I got to the one corner and the whole thing started going
Sinking. Yeah.
Funny dog.
And I'm like, oh. So I'm trying not to fall back so I can go forward. I got the D30, which is Rob's new our old first digital camera. So I'm like, oh, and then I go back up, and they're all like, the bride's doing the old like surfing, like, that's the closest. And because all I can think about is, like, what if they all went in?
Yeah.
YouTube
right?
moment.
Like everything, like that's it. Like, yeah, YouTube moment, career ender.
I've seen that before. I've seen that with the docks where the whole wedding party's on and the dock starts to go like this and the middle part starts to drop. Oh my God. I was like, yep, too many people on the dock all at the same time, right?
Can I tell you?
You remember you told me the story about in Manitoulin, the bride, and remember she set up everybody.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
What did she do?
I remember that story, and I tell that a lot because it's the funniest thing I've heard for a wedding.
What did she do?
That was funny. It was all right. I shot her sister's wedding. Here, the funny thing is, I shot the wedding. They just came in for pictures.
Oh, really?
I shot them out at the falls 3 days ago. They made a really nice order too. Anyways, yeah, I'm shooting their pictures at the falls, and she's like, "You don't remember us, do you? You shot our wedding on New Year's Eve." I'm like, "Oh, where?" And as soon as she said Manitoulin Island, Red Deer, whatever road, I was like, "Oh!" And right away I told whoever I was with about that wedding, which is the same story. Okay, I'll tell you real quick. This is funny as hell, Judy. Okay, so her sister got married that previous summer, and the parents live on the north shore of Lake Huron by Manitoulin Island. So the bride is known to be a klutz. So they have everybody's there. The chairs are set up. They're waiting for the bride to bride the whole. She's going to come in the boat, right, and go to the dock, walk down the dock, and come to the front and get married. Everybody's there. So the bride's father had 2 videographers there, one videotaping the bride coming, one videotaping the mother of the bride, who had no idea what was about to happen. So you see the dad come in the boat with the bride, and he comes up to the boat. It wasn't the bride. It was his buddy dressed up as a bride.
Oh, no.
So she's like, hiding his face, pretending to be the bride, and steps out of the boat, and whoa! Splash! That was the funniest thing I ever heard.
And so that was a gag.
It was a gag. But the bride was hiding. That's a good gag.
That is a good gag.
Great gag.
Yeah, that's a good.
So one time I was shooting a wedding in the same area, and the bride was deaf, completely deaf, but she could lip read in 2 languages. And we went to the dock, and the neighbor camp decides, he gets all excited, so he pulls out his bagpipes and he starts wailing away in the bagpipes, right? And I'm all fucking annoyed. This is loud. I'm trying to talk to the bridal party, and she's all smiles because she can't hear a thing.
Yeah, she can't hear anything. Oh God.
I always remember that stuff. Any other funny doc stories or near-death or deathly experiences on weddings or otherwise?
No. This year was pretty uneventful.
I never had that. I've never had. All my weddings were pretty PG.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody got killed. Well, Judy, you're older, wiser, smarter, and you play by the rules.
Yes. I mean, I had the unfortunate. My wedding from October 7th. Her father was rushed to the hospital that night.
On the wedding day? Oh.
Yeah. I was gone by then, and they kept it. They kept it from her. They didn't tell her.
What happened to him?
He's got a bad heart, and he's in ICU right now, and they don't think he's going to make it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
At least he got to go to the wedding.
Yes, he was there, but he's had a heart transplant, so he's very sick anyway.
Yeah.
You know, these are sort of things that they kind of expect.
That
But
is-
I guess they did sort of a first dance with him where they had him like sitting in a chair and they
Yeah.
tried to
Yeah.
stand him up, and he was dropping off to one side. They
Oh,
figure he was stroking or something
Uh,
like that when it was happening. Yeah. So, and that was right at the point where I finished up and then I left. And then right after I left. And so she phoned me a few days later and, you know, to thank me and everything like that. Because I've shot several people in her family.
yeah.
So, you know, she was just letting me know what happened, which is kind of sad.
It's like when you do a family portrait and you know somebody's really, really, really sick and they're doing the family portrait because of that.
Because of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of those, and
Yeah.
you know,
But he was like,
I've done a
he did
few
really
last family
great
portraits.
earlier in the day, right? Like he
yeah,
was
wore 'em
doing
out.
well. Yeah, I think so. I think it was
I
just too much for
I
him.
shot a family portrait and they knew it was coming. It was I
Yeah,
was their last family portrait.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, the mom wanted it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Did a
They
few of
actually
those.
scheduled a
Yeah,
shoot for that reason.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
know it, you show up, and it's like, ooh,
she was the last one in the family to get married.
yeah,
Both her sister and her brother were already married, so
yeah.
she was the last one. And I said to her, I said, he was there for it.
He was
So,
there for it, so that'll be everybody will be like they'll
yeah,
have that memory.
yeah. And I took a picture of her mom and dad together at the beginning of the night,
Oh, when he looked good.
and she doesn't know I took that photo.
Oh, bonus. She's
Yeah,
gonna love that,
yeah, yeah. She
especially
doesn't
if he
know yet.
dies really soon.
Well, you know,
Could happen.
it'll certainly be an image that they'll probably have at the
Yeah.
funeral.
I've heard of fathers of the groom dying at the reception during
Yeah,
supper.
that's awful, right?
I've heard of that happening. So
Yeah. I mean, they lied to her and Oliver, the couple. They lied to them and said that he was tired and he was going home. And
yeah.
in actual fact, they rushed him to the hospital.
See my screen?
Yep.
I just bought these. Look at them. $24.99.
Are those backdrops?
Yeah, I bought them like 3 days ago, and they come from Hong Kong or something like that. They just came in today. This is back
like a brick.
I was going to say, yeah, holy smokes.
Is it nylon or
Were they good size?
vinyl?
What size are they? Oh, 10 by 10, so they're pretty big, eh?
like latex or whatever.
latex thing?
This one here was $60, but it's a 10 by 20, and
Wow,
it's the same material from Hong Kong. And it's like amazing to get these backdrops for
Does
dirt.
it wrinkle?
There's a line in this one from the full, but it's so easy to remove. I just select it, right click, fill content aware. Boom, it's
Yeah.
gone, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
This backdrop is really, really nice.
Oh, go back.
Here,
No, one more.
let me tell you a quick story about
That
this
high
one.
key. Really like the high key backdrop.
Let me tell you this one real quick. This was about 3 weeks ago. This mom is telling me her daughter was like, "Why are we taking pictures? We got cell phones." I'm like, "Holy shit, this is happening! Like kids are gonna grow up, and this whole idea of a professional portrait is gonna really."
Go by the wayside
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
till
but
they get older.
here's the thing though. Like now, like we used to go out to photographers for, you know what I mean? It's being a family portrait photographer for the young kids is going to be like when they grow, they're like, oh yeah, we actually had a photographer that came out.
A
Like
what?
it could become a big thing again to have
Who
a
knows?
Yeah.
professional photographer photograph like for the kids. Like I remember going to Rob's, like yeah, we went to a studio and had our family portrait done.
Way back in the day.
But you know what I mean? Like to that kid, she's like, holy crap, like we
Yeah.
actually got a photographer.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've been talking to a lot of my clients and like just at this Afghan wedding that I did, because I photographed 3 of the couples that were there.
Right.
And I wasn't doing family photo. I haven't been doing family photos, and now those are going to be rolled into the wedding website, doing family portraits again, and they're all like, "Oh my God, like we're coming." They all go and get professional family portraits done.
Right.
So clearly, it's still a thing to do.
Yeah.
It's still it's still an important aspect
It
because
is.
they realize that, yeah, they can get their iPhone out, but one of them's always effing missing from the picture,
Yeah.
right?
That's still a thing. I'm just worried about the very young. Like that girl was 10 years old, right?
Yeah, but she's 10.
20 years from now, I don't know where
Yeah,
that
when she's
generation.
30, she's going to think differently about it. And
So
it's the aspect that when somebody's got their phone or somebody's taking a picture,
Yeah.
there's one person always missing.
yeah, no
Go
doubt.
to the professional, everybody's in the photo that's supposed to be in the photo. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's
I'm a
one thing,
professional.
right?
Yeah, I'm a professional. You just take their iPhone, you
But
just
it's
mount it
like,
on.
okay,
You
you
mount
take a
it on a
picture
tripod. You
and
just put it
dad's
on
never in the photo, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, like how many photos I have of my family and my father's not in the photos because he
Yeah.
was the one taking the pictures.
Yeah.
So the only family photo that he's in is the one at my sister's wedding, okay? And I got somebody else to take it
Yeah.
of us. Yeah. That's the only one I'm in.
It's very rarely that photographers actually set up family portrait sessions for themselves.
It's very rare, very rare. But I mean, it's interesting because I've been talking to a lot of these people and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're doing family photos. Well, we want our family photos done. And everybody wants professional family photos done. And I'm like, I think there's more of them now
Yeah.
than there was before,
Hmm.
almost.
So check this image out.
Yeah.
This is the groom's father and the groom's mother
Side by side with two
taking
different
video. I'm
phones.
like, come on. They had a videographer there. Put your camera down and enjoy
I
the.
know. I
Um,
know. It's like,
but they were
just
really nice.
enjoy the event, right? It's like, stop doing that.
Stop
But you
it.
see so many
Stop it.
people. Yeah.
Stop it.
More and more couples, though, are actually telling people not to.
It's a thing now, yeah.
Yeah. Especially at the ceremony.
So I have a hankering for a 12-foot canvas old masters backdrop. If you guys know where I can sort of dig one up. Don't tell my wife though, because
I
that's
A
love
that
those.
insults
12-foot
the
canvas
Those are
old
my
not
masters. What
10
the hell
foot.
is that? I don't
That's
even
my
know what that is.
no. Oh, those are my favorite backdrops of the
Really?
whole
It's
world.
got to be
Oh,
canvas though, no Muslim. I was in Winnipeg last year speaking at the convention,
What's the difference?
and Bruce had his studio, gave me a tour, and he had a bunch of them there, and I was looking at him, and I was coveting his backdrops.
you
Why
need to get a hold
canvas?
of Claude Gagnon. He's got a whole
The
crap load of them.
canvas is smooth.
Like a
Let-
painting.
let- If I can, let me, maybe I'll show you an example of what I mean.
So the old masters is just like where it's light in the middle behind the person, and it just gets darker and faded as the edges go out. It's almost like
Okay.
it almost like it has a vignette automatically painted into it.
Right.
If that's what you're asking.
Yeah. No, well, no, because I'm like, what the
my
hell?
first backdrops that I bought were canvas rolls, right? And I just fell in love with the canvas. They absorb light. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so they're very colorful and saturated right in camera. I used them for all our grads. I got a brown one, we had a nice blue one. I just love the old Masters canvases. And then they started coming out with some Muslim, and they recreated what was that?
Yeah.
What was it? Denny's. Like I bought a whole bunch from Denny's. It was the old
And
Master
Bona
style,
sold a bunch.
and Bona too. But there's just something about the canvas, just something.
I like the Mark
Yeah.
Hauser look.
Yeah.
So sort of like that.
Did you type in old Masters canvas?
No,
Oh,
this
okay.
is. So I typed in Mark Hauser. So I don't know if this is. Yeah, this is not a 12-foot.
Would
The
that
one-
be a little bit like what an oliphant backdrops look like?
I don't even know what an elephant backdrop looks like.
They're custom painted.
Yeah, it's most of them are custom painted. Like
Yeah.
these are all hand painted. This is hand painted. I used to have a bunch. I got rid of, but they were 10-foot.
You always go back to remember those panels? I just saw him in one of his pictures. Remember those panels?
But I'd like to find a couple of those.
Those were cool, man.
But anyways, the whole idea is it's sort of classic. If it's well lit, but really cool poses, something like this here. it makes a really nice nice product. But again, I really want it to be canvas, and it's got to be 12 feet because I've been shooting a lot of families in the studio. I have a 12-foot white paper,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is good. It's really nice. I don't throw light on the background. I let it go light gray, and it works really well. But I'm like,
Right.
I'd like to get something a little darker.
Oh, the Owens Originals Old Master backdrops. I had that.
You had what? This one?
That Owens Originals Old Master backdrop.
Oh, digital
I've seen
backdrops.
that before. I think I have that.
But when it's canvas, it unrolls beautifully and it's flat. There's no
No
wrinkles.
wrinkles, nothing. It's just ready to go.
Right.
So family, it's
the only
mostly for
problem is
families.
they're hard to take on location because they don't fold up at all.
They don't
you know?
fold. Yeah, exactly.
You got it hanging out your car window in the back
Well,
seat.
that's like a paper roll backdrop. It doesn't fold,
you
right?
got to put a red flag on the back when you're going.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need 6 guys from the blasting mat company to carry it for you.
Yeah, exactly. No, canvas. Oh man, they were just.
Yeah, they're not very. It's not very practical, is what you're saying, right?
I love.
So do you guys?
I love
have you guys-
shooting like portraits and everything on old masters canvases. Which is
Yeah.
there's something about it. It's weird to say, but there is a certain look with them. You know.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
find them much richer and they're just so flat. There is no wrinkles. But Rob,
Yeah.
you should talk to Claude Gagnon.
Yeah.
When I was at his studio last, he had a whole bunch, and I was like, oh, because I just went like, holy crap, old masters and canvas. Oh, he had a whole bunch of rolls.
Yeah, I can buy one from Denny's or David Mayhew, but they're at least $1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're expensive.
I might just do that anyways, but don't tell my wife I said that. But I'd like to buy a used one, like I saw in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's
There's
oh yeah. Listen, I got some information for you.
I'm calling Tina.
Sneaky.
Do you guys notice more and more people are getting into coaching photography? I notice it's like there's this surge this year. I'm getting ads.
Yeah, I do get a lot of ads for it.
I don't.
Yeah.
I guess I ignore a lot of them, but I don't think it's any more than usual. I just think maybe you're just on more mailing lists than
There
usual.
seems to be a surge. Well, I get retargeted on Facebook. Well, James, you and I went to the convention, and there was like 2 new ones that started. I'm like,
I still think it's on a massive decline.
it's what?
I think that whole coaching thing is going to on a decline because it is getting a bit saturated, but it's just not. I don't want to say
It's
there's
the same thing
I don't
over
want
and
to say
over
there's
and
no
over again.
substance there, but it's like, yeah, most of the stuff has already been done, and you
Yeah.
can find it. You can find it anywhere on the internet for free.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem.
And the
with
thing is, like, there's no,
Now-
there's no.
the business side of it, that's the different story.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
There aren't a lot of good teachers on the business side of
You
it.
do not see that anymore. I'm sorry to say,
No.
Rob, it's almost like it's become a dying breed. I don't see
Well,
it anymore.
Sandy Putsch has been doing a lot of seminars,
I'm
webinars.
not
She's
saying
legit.
nobody's doing it. I'm saying you don't see a lot of people
Yeah.
talking about business. I'm
No.
not saying it's not there, but it's compared to learn how to do photography. That's
Yeah.
that's massive. Learn
Yeah.
Photoshop. That's massive. Learn to make
Actually, I see
money with
both.
it.
I see a ton in both. But when it comes to business, there's Sandy, and who's that Joy marketing girl? She's got some really wicked.
Oh,
Yeah, I know who you mean. I know
No,
who you mean.
and
I don't.
Sarah
And
Petty.
Montana?
She's got some
Sarah
really good.
Petty.
And
Yeah, I
Really?
don't like her stuff.
Anne Montea, how do you pronounce her?
She might be
last
watching this.
Yeah, I don't like her
She
stuff.
had one
But-
too
but-
that was very good.
But her videos to promote her product is like dynamite. I was like,
It's
shit,
great, but you know, you
wanna
got to
buy
buy her
it.
product. Yeah, and I mean, and I saw her on Creative Live, I think twice, Sarah Petty, and I
Yeah.
was kind of like, she's like sales pitchy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't find like so I've watched Sandy a few times. Sandy has substance. You know, there's
Yeah.
a certain amount of substance there, right? Sarah Petty, I didn't find had substance.
Okay. If she watches this and you get hate mail, don't blame me.
Whatever. You know, it's
No holds
just
barred, man. It's okay.
just a personal opinion. I found her kind of, yeah, more pitchy, more sales pitchy, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not really a lot of substance into what she was teaching. Whereas with Sandy, I find there's substance if you're doing what she's doing. Like if you do
Yeah.
something similar to what she does.
Sandy's always been my favorite, and she's all about marketing.
Yeah, and she's smart. and how she does it. Like
Yeah.
really,
She
very
knows how to
smart.
build a business.
But you also have to have that business model, that same business model. You
So
know,
yeah.
everybody has their own business model on what they want to offer and how they want to do it.
So yeah, not too many guys promoting how to blah 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 in the industrial and mining world, is there, James? You've
No.
really carved out a tight little niche. This is so cool, and I think you've shielded yourself in a vacuum where not a lot of people can penetrate that, and if they wanted to, good luck.
Shielding the self, I think it's. I mean, it's there. I think it's not quick.
It's going to take years.
It does take years. You got to build your name. It's mining, like like any of the manufacturers that I am shooting, I have to build my name in that industry. Which so you got to produce quality work. You got to be good on site. You got to they got to know they can count on you, and then that's where you get recommendations and stuff like that. But you got to be consistent, constantly.
Yeah.
It's like anything. You like. I spent 2 hours this morning just doing stuff to further my my clientele and leads and stuff like.
Right. Which you have to do.
I hit the pavement every day. It's just like anything.
But you've got a list of loyal clients, and loyalty counts for a lot.
If somebody was going to go into it full time, it's going to take years because you got to build a clientele.
Right.
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 So,
but you're in a niche again, so it's really cool.
Yeah, it won't happen everywhere, but
first of all,
I'm not. I say this there's a lot of factors you got to get. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is, because this is what we've been talking about all day.
Here it is. James is going to tell us.
You got to be professional, and I'm not saying some people aren't. I'm just saying like you have to for every aspect of your job, because if it's you have to do all your marketing. You have to run your business, but then you have to show up. You have to be on time. You have to be fair. You have to produce good work. You know what I mean? You have to be a team player. Like you know what I mean? So you have nonstop.
Yeah.
That's with you guys as well on every job, because you don't know when your next paycheck's going to be.
Yeah.
You've just defined professional.
You have to do that all the time. Now, if you have a full-time job, are you actually going that whole 100% for all those faucets?
Right.
Some things
I don't know. Some do. I know some do, and I know some don't.
Something's got to give.
You know what I mean? So when it's just then this is your livelihood and your bank.
Right. What about the full-time thing? So do you feel that being full-time, this is me, I'm talking for myself, and I'm sure you guys can relate. When you're full-time, you're hungry. I'm in the tiger in the savannah or the leopard. I've got to find my prey and hunt it down.
Right.
Otherwise,
I haven't done what I wanted to do yet.
So you're just getting warmed up.
I don't know what it is, but I'm not satisfied with my mining career.
Right.
What do you mean?
I'm not. I'm happy. Like, don't get me wrong. I am happy where I am, but I know I've got more. Like I'm excited for it, but I know there's more. I'm not there yet.
There's more there.
I don't know if that's more clients. I don't know if that's. I don't know what it is yet, but I just know I'm going more. I'm doing more. I'm hungry. Like you said, Rob, I'm hungry for it. I want more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy the challenge of.
So there's a whole new plateau, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'll be happy when I get this here lens. Then
it's like you said too, Rob. You're changing things up. You said it. You don't know if you're old or if there's not. You're older. There's not a lot of weddings. You don't know, but you're changing things up so that you can stay ahead of the game.
Let me talk on that weddings point. I don't give a shit if the weddings die out because there's lots of other stuff for me to do.
There's other stuff, yeah.
But I never, ever want to take it for granted, and I am very proactive in pushing the fairy day, the family portraits, the affiliation marketing. I just come up with an idea. Check this out. Okay.
Yeah.
This is crude. But it's, Charm Plus, they're the makeup/hair salon in town. And I went and hit her up last week. I'm like, let's do an event. Remember the old glamour shots days, Judy?
Yeah, I remember those too.
But we're going to charge.
I actually had one of those taken of myself, so there you go.
But you remember even the ones you did in the Sears? Rob? Remember?
Same idea, but we're not going to call it glamour. We're going to call it, because everyone finds that
Why
hokey,
would you
we're going to call it something else. And we're going to charge like $147 versus the $37 we used to charge. And we're thinking about doing it. So
Yeah.
Nice.
that amongst everything else. And, you know, I got, I'm doing a trade show. There's a craft show at RLBD, which is like sort of a really nice school in a really good area of town here. And I didn't know they had this one. They're really, really aggressive with their fundraising. So I'm like getting in there, right? So I paid for my booth $70. I paid for it like 2 months ago. It's next month, one day Saturday. Crafty, artsy, fartsy. These are the people I want to be in front of. So they contacted me last week, and they're like, how about we give you your money back, and then we're going to set up in a classroom. We're going to get the Santa. You take pictures. We'll charge like whatever, and we'll split the money. And I thought about it, and they're going to get a shitty Santa. So, and I said, no, I don't think it's a good idea. But my whole point being, they're now wanting to work with me. They're throwing ideas at me, right?
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'll tell you what I'll do instead. I'll set up one of my backdrops, which I was going to order anyways because we're doing some of these themed pictures. And, you know, because the classroom lights are like bright fluorescent, throw the Santa on there, just let people come in and take a picture with their cell phone, because that's what they're going to do anyways.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a shitty Santa, at least give it a nice backdrop and put a donation thing there, or charge $2-3 to take your picture with Santa.
Right.
So I pitched them that.
A picture with shitty Santa.
I pitched them that, and they're going to let me know, and you know. But that's the thing, you know, and you just got to do stuff like that all the time.
You know what I did?
What?
This year was the first year I actually bought something for my cameras.
Oh yeah.
While I'm on location, I haven't bought straps or anything like that in like God knows how long, right? So what did I buy? I bought the hold fast double strap system.
Is it kind of like this? But
it's like the rapid strap, but the camera can click.
It's better than the rapid strap.
This is rapid strap.
Way better. Yeah, the rapid strap, I had that way back. My cameras fell off 3 times, and I threw it out.
Oh. How did your cameras fall off?
Yeah, it unscrewed.
See,
I duck it. These things are really strong, but I duck it. These will not move.
So so it's like that, but it's a canvas double, right? So it crisscrosses in the back, and it screws into the bottom, but then it also clips onto your camera as well. So it's a double lock system onto your camera.
I love double.
Yeah, and let me tell you, you feel like you have no cameras there.
Okay,
it's light.
It's super light.
So you got 2 D700s.
Yeah, and it just literally feels like there's nothing on your shoulders.
Can I Google that? What's it called again?
Hold fast. It's a B&H. I got it at B&H. So.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's and I got the canvas one, not the leather. It's called the Moneymaker, I think. That's the one that.
I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see it, Rob.
So that's the one I got. Only I got the one that's not leather. I got that canvas one because I thought the canvas
barn or something.
Well, the canvas one was looked lighter to me, and it is. It's actually it's a really nice, lightweight, but sturdy canvas, and it doesn't cut in, and it doesn't feel.
It's just like this, but it's canvas, not this is leather.
Yeah, and see, it's got the double system, so it screws into the bottom of the camera, and then it clips onto one of the side gear, not the one on the side where your card is, but on the other side is where you clip it on.
Right.
And so it's got a double lock system.
Double safety.
Double safety. Yeah.
How much was that?
That one I got it with exchange and everything, and shipping was about $200.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
$100 a strap.
Yeah.
For the record, I've always hated the idea of having a double, and you know, I have 2 singles, but I've never ever had a problem with my system. I absolutely love it. So
you use
whatever works, right?
Double?
Hmm?
Rob, you go with 2 singles. You don't go with the
Yeah,
strap double.
yeah, because I want to be able to take one off. I don't know why. It's just a thing. I don't know.
No,
Well, I don't have my cameras on these all the time.
I
Okay.
keep a single in my camera bag in the front flap, but I still wear my double because sometimes, if I just want to go single.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
and
should
you want
borrow
to
my
look cool.
you should borrow my double sometime, Rob,
Try it out, eh?
and try it out because
Good.
man,
It
just
really
having
makes a
that
difference, right?
well on the shoulders, right? It'll make a
Yeah.
difference on the shoulders.
Yeah.
You've got more support on the upper back.
But I'm shooting Sony. I mean, these things are light.
It just
But
really
but you're
is.
getting old,
They're
It's
little
really
vegan-
nice.
You're getting frail. That weight down.
Yes.
You're gonna-
I
You're still
like.
shoot-
I don't put it on all the time.
Yeah.
For me, it's for ceremony, photo shoots, that kind of thing.
It's events, stuff like that.
When I'm at the bride's house, I have my pulley bag, and I use that, and then I just grab the cameras as I need it. And at the reception, I don't use it.
No, eh?
No, I don't need it there.
When I do site walks, I've got both. I got 2 cameras going.
Yeah. When you
And
got to
they're-
walk
and they're-
around,
And they're both strung up with pocket wizards
Yeah.
on them.
So-
Got a wide
so-
angle and a telephoto.
Judy, what are you using at the reception then? No straps?
no straps. I don't like straps on my cameras.
Hmm.
They're
So
strap free.
you just got your camera loose?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have straps on my cameras either.
No, God, they drove me. It's like the straps are turning and they're constantly falling in front of the viewfinder. No, just
Never
get rid
happens
of
with
them.
my system here.
I
use
don't
it.
even like hand straps. I don't like no straps.
But I got to tell you something. I have almost 100% of the time, other than weddings, been using the tripod. You can see my mount.
Yeah.
I've been
I
using a
never
tripod.
used to do that. In this last 4 or 5 months, I noticed the images are sharper. Literally, even if you're going at like 300 of a second, or you're using a flash in the studio, they're sharper. I noticed that.
I don't use this tripod for anything. So.
Yeah, I've gone there. I've been doing that.
Bravo.
Tripod.
I use a
tripod.
tripod. I use a tripod all the time.
You do, eh? And Judy, you don't use a tripod ever?
No.
Well, you're probably a lot stabler than us, and
If I don't have movement, if I don't have massive movement, I'll use.
I'm
a
pretty
tripod.
steady with the camera. Look, I know I don't typically like to go under a 60th of a second. That's sort of my low range.
Yeah.
But ISO can go up. So, you get pretty comfortable with that nowadays. And I'm shooting with 1.4 and 1.8 lenses most of the time, like
Yeah.
my 50 and my 85. Yeah. So, yeah, it works pretty good for me.
If it's ain't broke,
Don't fix it. That's it.
don't fix
I
it.
gotta find
Well-
something to carry my light stands with me. I find on a full day where I'm walking around doing the site, by the end of the day,
You're tired.
I'm not tired. My body actually hurts. My shoulders
Yeah.
hurt. My back hurts. Just because I carry a tripod with my camera, and I have the other strap on the one camera, and
Yep.
then I've got another light with the soft box, and sometimes I'll have 2 other single flashes that I'm walking around with like this. One in hand and stuff like that. And by the end of the day,
Oh, sure.
but I'd like
right?
to find something to hold my hold those, like a briefcase handle type thing that I can just clip them in and walk around.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Check
that
this out.
like 18 light setup.
Yeah, all these other lights are not being used. So I'm using
They just
2.
look cool. They just look cool. Totally confuse
I know, right?
everyone that's
Like,
looking at it, right?
This
You
is
should
2
just
real-
post this. You should just post it up. Can you figure out which lights I'm using? That'd be a challenge for some people.
the 2 lights on the right are 2 really cheap LED softbox lights. I was telling you about that. And
Yeah.
they're from China. They're really, really cheap. And I put the camera on the tripod and I put it on auto ISO, and I grabbed a custom white balance, and it actually looks pretty good. Just trying to find the finished image here. Come on, where is it?
Just go to details and look at the largest file size.
And anyways,
Or don't.
yeah, give me 1 sec. I'll be able to get this. It's going to be the one that says edit beside it. There it is.
The one that's the lowest, the smallest.
Oh, yeah. Damn. I just want a preview. There used to be a preview option.
Can't you just double click it?
Just gonna say.
It'll open up in Photoshop then.
Oh,
Oh.
I still have
That's the
it.
wrong one. Yeah.
I'm
Anyways,
assuming if it's an edit, it would be the bigger file size, right?
there it is.
There you go.
So I'm shooting this at 1.8, and there's your light, James. Your
Yeah.
with the gel I was telling you about. Not bad. I mean, but I could never. I don't think I could get it that sharp if I was doing handheld.
No.
But it's a new lighting I'm trying. This is a continuous lighting, I guess, for lack of a better word. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a thing with apparently with a lot of photographers now. They're going with these soft boxes. I think, James, that one of the Infernos, Travis had a system, continuous lighting. Do you recall? Or somebody did. And I was not interested in it.
I remember Monty Zucker had one.
But I'm sort of getting interested in that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things, the reasons for that, and it sort of applies with what you were saying, James, about where there's an extra level, I guess, where you want to go to. So using a tripod, just slowing right down and just being more meticulous may or may not help me. I don't know if I'll ever be able to improve my shooting style. So, but this is similar to how you shoot, Judy, right? But you're handheld, but you're shooting all natural light. You're all mostly continuous light.
Mostly. I mean, you know,
Natural light.
I do strobe stuff.
Nice.
Not a ton of strobe stuff, but I have my strobes and I do use them.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing them, I'm typically doing them much darker.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a dark environment out of a daylight environment. So
you're using those the grids,
yeah, I'm using a lot of grids on my lights and stuff. I mean, I use white lightnings, which are Paul C. Buff lights.
Yeah.
And I grid them down quite a bit.
What I got. So that's like one of these.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. All right. I got notes here, and I can't. There's one more item I want to talk about, and I can't understand my writing. Luas Mori. What does Luas Mori mean?
What?
I don't know. That's what it says. I was writing it too fast. So, anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I can't think of anything.
That was a fun discussion.
I think so too. It was good.
Yeah, I got those canvas backdrop. They're canvas or vinyl from China. I was just showing you. That's another thing we're going to be doing is the Santa theme backdrops. But we're not doing Santa pictures though.
No, just Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just Christmas.
Christmassy. Kids in.
You know, like not to knock the Santa photos, but you know, like there are photographers out there that do such an impeccable job of Santa photos. Like John Rashford does a beautiful job with Santa sets. Mark Bailey did a but do you know what I mean? Like again, they did it like you did your fairies, Rob. You know, like it was all about the lighting, the shadows, the details about it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It was like that extra mile that they go to. Like I hate Santa photos, but man, like when you really kind of step it up,
there's Maria's.
It makes a difference, right?
It does.
Check it out. There's Maria's.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that looks like a freaking post, like you know, Norman Rockwell painting. You put it on your wall. That's an heirloom piece right there.
A work of art. That is not Santa.
That's not Santa. Do you know what
Definitely
I mean? Like,
stepping
I
it up a
remember,
notch,
like
right?
you know, like you could make like people would spend a lot of money, big prints, to have something like that. You know, even if they break it out for 1 month out of the year during the holiday season, like after a while, you know what I mean? Just because they're not throwing that out, you know.
So yeah, the reason we wanted to do this was because Tina wanted to do a creative kids contest, and it just did not sit well with me. I thought that's too bland,
right?
Too boring.
Yeah.
We got to get.
So you're not doing a Santa. You're doing a Christmas themed.
Yeah, without Santa, with just kids like in pajamas and that. with a nice backdrop. We'll see how it works. If we have to get a Santa down the road, we'll get a Santa down the road.
Don't get a shitty Santa though.
No,
You know,
No shitty
that's the
Santa's
thing.
allowed.
No shitty Santa.
No.
You know.
Hey, you know how much a good Santa costs?
What I was gonna say, like, if you were gonna use a Santa, right?
Yeah.
I would say, all right, it's it's 1 month away, 2 months away. Let's go do a video Santa. You know, like get the kids excited about, hey kids, look who I'm with, it's Santa.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
You know how much a good Santa costs?
a lot.
$60 an hour.
Yeah.
Really,
but if they're drinking, you can get it down to 40.
Bad Santa.
Yeah. What did you learn from this webinar? Don't get a shitty Santa.
Don't get a bad Santa.
But it's true. Do you know, like, I've seen some Santa
You know
pictures.
what? Billy Bob
that
Thornton
were-
or whatever
that
his
were
name is.
excellently executed. They were beautiful
Bad
Santa portraits.
Santa.
Like, they did a nice job, lighting,
Yeah.
technical wise. But the Santa was a shitty Santa. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't, shit in,
Makes
shit
a
out.
difference.
Like, your
Yeah.
Santa, it makes a big difference. Don't get that
Absolutely.
cotton beard. Over the, get a Santa with a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people spend money on their kids.
I think, like, John Ratchford, I think I just recently saw something from him, and he, like, it was nice lighting. It was very, like, good shadows, not harsh, but just shadows where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it had depth. So when you looked at it, it told the story, but you actually kind of looked more in the what's going on in the whole scene. It was very well done.
Right.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yep.
That one.
Calls them Miracle on 34th Street sessions. Cool. That's a good Santa.
There's a good Santa.
There's a $60 an hour Santa. I've done 2 webinars with John. This guy is an amazing marketer. Oh, he's done an interview. Check it out.
Oh, look at that. There you go. Let's watch it.
Huh.
This guy's on the ball, man.
That's good, man. Look at
Look
that.
at that. There he is.
Yes, sir.
He's the guy that used to dress up as Spider-Man at WPPI. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever go to WPPI and see that dude going around like in a full all-out
not
Spider-Man
once.
outfit?
Hey, this guy branded himself. Check out his glasses. Always has different styled glasses.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah.
the norm. That he branded himself that way.
Yeah, he's pretty. Like
I like
I always
good
remember
job.
the first interview I did with him. He's from Cape Breton in Sydney, and it's like, okay, 40% unemployment rate. So the first question was, John, how do you work and survive and succeed in an area with 40% unemployment rate? And he says, it's simple. I just go after the other 60%.
Well, there's still 60% that still
Yep.
pays, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He's when you talk about the brand, James is talking about. See, he's always like that. He's always well dressed, and he'll dress up with his Spider-Man outfit too.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Well, whatever he's doing right, right?
Yeah, it's working out for him. Well, now he's doing. It's almost like a America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
But he's done it like a modeling contest, and it's a big event in his town. He hires it's this big hall. It's like a really big event. He gets a lot of photo shoots from them, and he gets a lot of.
I know a guy who's here who was trying that too, but I don't know how well it worked out for him.
It's working for John. There it is. See right here.
Nope.
Next top model and tween finalist. I think he does more than one of these a year.
Yeah.
Gala night. So you got to buy tickets to go in. He covers, I believe, all his costs, packs the place, and turns it into a big event. And he's the MC.
Huh.
What a guy. Yay, John. So in an area with a very high unemployment rate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a guy here who was trying that. He was in Guelph. Can't remember. And his first name's John, but I can't remember what his other name is. But I don't know how well it went for him because he's not. I don't think he's doing it anymore. So
I think you gotta work this for.
You really got to. Yeah.
it's probably good if you're in a smaller community where people know you.
Yeah.
And they get all excited and they all come out and they turn it into an event. So there's his Santa Claus pictures and a bunch of other stuff he's doing. Cute little caper contest. There you go, guys.
Very cool.
Marketing, marketing, marketing.
Always.
The money is out there. All you got to do is go get it.
Right. Go and get it.
It's out there.
Just go get it.
Woohoo.
Knock it out.
You ever watch that
baby.
video, Glenn Ross?
What's that? Glengarry Game Ross? What about that?
Yeah, Coffee is for Losers. Have you ever, Closers, you ever watch that?
No.
James,
You
you've
ever
seen it. I've showed it to you.
Oh, yeah, we've watched
Okay, when we're done, go on YouTube. It's a 5-minute clip. Alex Baldwin. Glenn Ross.
Judy, I'll go find it, and I'll send you a link right to it.
Okay, send me the link.
Coffee
Okay,
is for
cool.
Closers. It's
Yeah.
some of the best acting in the world ever. It's based on a play, and they turned it into a movie in the early 90s. It was an art house film,
Yeah.
and it's it's so good.
Send me the link.
The money is out there.
Woohoo.
Glenn Ross inspirational speech.
There we
Oh,
go.
and you're gonna laugh when you see it.
I'm sure I will.
You're gonna laugh.
I'll definitely watch it.
First prize, brand new Cadillac Eldorado.
We can watch the Glenn Ross
Second
Al
prize,
Pacino rant.
second. Oh, that's a vicious thing. That Al Pacino, he choose out the manager of The Office, who was played by famous actor.
Yeah, what's his name from The Abyss?
Yeah. He was in American Beauty.
Oh no, yes. Oh yeah, what was his name?
Second prize is steak knives. Third prize is you're fired. You got to watch it, Judy. I'm surprised you've never heard of it.
No, never heard of it. But I
Fire.
will take a look.
I'm listening to it right now.
And it's loaded with truisms.
Yeah.
As
Okay,
much as
cool.
you think the guy's a total dickwad, and but it's just got so much truth to it. And
I'll
anybody-
definitely watch it for sure.
Oh, it's
anybody-
just like a 7-minute clip, but you should watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
yeah, but that 7-minute clip's got it all, though.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one with Alex Baldwin, right?
I just sent it.
Where are
Okay.
you from?
Oh yeah, I got it. Okay. Cool. I'll watch it.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
I'm gonna
Are we
watch. As soon
done?
as we hang up, I'm gonna watch it again just because it's that funny.
Me too.
Okay, we done for the night? I got to go
Done.
back to retouching.
Yeah,
All right,
fine.
guys.
We'll talk again.
Yeah, we
You
do it again.
betcha.
Okay.
Ciao.
Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. It's been great.
Good night.